And I'll just leave it muted for the rest. 8675309.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. As always, I'm your host, Nick McQuik. Joining me in studio, as always, our amazing, beautiful, and he smells so fresh out of the dryer, audio producer Tom Brent.
Yeah.
How you been, Tom?
I've been all right.
Yeah? You been doing good?
I've been doing good.
Keeping busy?
Yeah, actually. I've been doing, mostly nothing, actually.
We had you over around the New Year times.
Yeah, I ate so much of your guacamole.
I think you ate most of the guacamole. My
all
wife
the
made the guacamole, turned around, and then she was like, "It's gone."
It over the holidays. So I started counting my calories and getting on some more focused exercise programs in I think end of October, start of November. And so I was doing all that stuff. Then start of December, I got really sick. I was waylaid for a week. And then the holidays happened, and I came back, and I gained all that weight back. It was all 100% reverted. And I'm like, was it because I was eating too much? Or was it because of the booze? Or was it because I was eating one meal per day for most of the holiday?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but you're better now.
I'm better now.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
My wife's guacamole will fix anything. And joining us in the studio, it has been a hot minute. A long time since your last appearance on the podcast. Mark McCue.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
it's
doing
good to be
good.
back.
I'm doing good. I get to see you a lot at work, I guess, at comedy shows.
Yeah, but last time I think I was on this podcast is when you were still in the basement of that old creepy house.
No,
Yeah,
we remade it.
Yeah, we rebuilt it. We got a professional movie studio and we made a log cabin. So this, oddly enough, the log cabin that we built here cost a lot of money to make. And the weird thing is we have a green screen right behind it that we could
You could have just put
made a log cabin.
Yeah, you could have Googled log cabin and the first thing that comes up.
Yep, I know. I'm very aware. It's been brought up in a couple different things. But yeah, you've been tearing it up all over on the comedy scene.
Oh, I thank you.
You were doing some touring. You just did a festival a little while ago out east.
I did the Prince Edward Island Fringe Festival, the Island Fringe Festival. I had a lot of fun over there.
Now, is that in the middle of the island or on the fringe?
That's on. It's in Charlottetown.
Oh, okay. So that's the capital.
Yeah,
we all learned that in grade 6.
The capital of Charlottetown, which
yeah.
The capital of Charlottetown. Isn't Charlottetown the capital of
Prince Edward Island?
Yeah.
The thing that I didn't know when I went out there is Charlottetown actually has about half as many people as Red Deer.
Oh wow! So we're going population
In fact, no. I think the whole island
figures?
has there's not a lot of people out there.
Oh wow! So that's just a 5-figure sort of deal then.
So that's the Green Gables.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Oh my God, they love their Anne of Green Gables out there.
I guess
dude, it's
that's all they got.
It's insane. It's what brings out tourists. And Japanese tourists love Anne of Green Gables for some reason.
You would too if you were Japanese. This is the least weird thing I've ever seen.
But why is
there's no tentacles in this at all?
Why is Anne of Green Gables so big in Japan? I don't understand.
She's what, 5'7", 5'8"?
Yeah. I have.
Boo.
But no, just out of curiosity, because I haven't had a chance to. What was your show in the Fringe?
I just went out and did some stand up with a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just brought my show out there.
Right.
Also, you've been keeping up on Facebook. You have a personal philosophy of the day.
It's like I do one of those once a week.
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna say
it's not of the day anymore.
Yeah. Also, I was just wondering because you are probably one of the most prolific Facebook arguers that I know.
I don't know if that's necessarily true in the last 6 months or so.
I know it's true, but I also know it's not a compliment. I am hard-pressed to find any sort of Facebook post that you haven't chimed in on in some way or another.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. And I think that you've got...
I think I just like letting people... I like reminding people that I exist. I think that's all it is.
Oh, man. Wow.
Hey, Mark, do you need a friend? No, I have 800 on Facebook.
Yeah.
Try 1,400.
Oh, 1,400.
shit.
I don't know if that's the number.
I don't know.
We could
I can
probably find
fact
out.
check
Who
it.
knows?
Gonna fact check that.
Yeah, but yeah. So you've been keeping busy. You've been getting some shows, a little bit on the road here and there, making enemies on Facebook as always.
Barely. I have one enemy on Facebook, and we have not spoken in some time.
Didn't he block you a while ago?
yes, he did.
Okay.
Probably rightfully.
I guess
so,
without
if I'm
saying
being
without
honest.
saying any names, this person posted a lot of anti-Pokemon Go things.
Well, he posted a lot of a lot of things. He's pretty much anti anything fun or beautiful in this world.
So, and then you called him out on it. There's a bit of a back and forth. And then you started dealing with it in a very odd way.
I started.
I love you.
I just put a bunch of Pokemon games on Craigslist or Kijiji or one of
Oh,
those.
yeah,
and then
that
attached
was-
his number to it.
That was
And then you
fun.
put his phone number on it
Oh.
so that people would call him for Pokemon.
He had his phone number on his website.
I did a way
was
meaner. I did a way meaner thing of that because we both did that, and I did a way meaner one that I'm not even
Oh
going to
yeah,
mention.
Tom, you also got into it pretty good with him. You made a graphic for him.
Oh yeah, like I downloaded a Pokemon font and was like, boop, go, because basically, boop.
I love how we were just like, we're not going to say the name.
Yeah, we're not gonna say the name until Tom.
How are you supposed to whatever? Okay, you can censor that out when you edit it. Boop, edit it like boop, go. So
Go.
So I downloaded a Pokemon font. He basically he was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to start up this like comedy night or a festival or something like that, and I need a graphic designer to design me a logo for it. And so I downloaded the Pokemon font and I did his name and then -go, and I posted it, and I was like, oh yeah, and if you want me to like tweak it or anything like that, I charge $50 an hour, but I'll do this one for free because I know it's for charity or whatever.
I don't even
Just
dislike.
totally in earnest.
I don't even really dislike the person. I just found it funny how angry he would get in response to like things like that.
He went on another comedian's father's Facebook page and like started making fun of that person about Pokemon Go because they had posted like, "Oh, I've never been this close with my son before. We're having a great time."
And he was like, "Yeah, you're a pointless person," or
yeah,
something
you're wasting
weird.
your time, and it's like, what the hell?
What are you doing?
Why do you need to lash out like that?
Yeah,
That
I just found it like I don't really even have any strong feelings towards this person. I just find it funny that he reacted in such a negative way to such childish japes.
I would like to Japes. Wow, yeah. Thank you, Mary Poppins. I would just like to say with great internet connection comes great responsibility. So thank you very much for fighting the good fight on the internet nonstop. I'm not certain where it came from, but I believe that your large internet presence has brought about this video game that you're a part of. But before we get into that, this video game that's designed after you, you're a pussy slayer. Since I've known you, you've had more girlfriends than I have.
You're like the George Costanza of the Edmonton comedy
You know what?
scene.
I'll take that as a compliment, even though it's totally not a compliment.
You've gotten around. You dragged the old pineapple through a couple fields.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Do another.
Okay, you've thrown the lobster at a few different trees.
Which is the lobster.
Another.
Wait,
You
what's the lobster and what's the tree? I'm trying to figure out like what this
Well,
metaphor
you threw
is.
the lobster into the tree.
But like a
Lobster's
tree
your
is like
semen.
tall
What
and
is yours?
erect.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
whereas a lobster smells of the sea.
so are you saying the lobster is you've thrown your lobster, aka your butthole?
How do you not know what a lobster tree is? Okay. Hold on, Mark. You're losing a friend on Facebook right now. But you've gotten around. You've done pretty good for yourself. And in fact, maybe so well that somebody has made a video game about you that is a dating simulator.
Yeah, yes, but it's like it's the opposite of what you just said. It's about like, look at this sad, weird little man. Let's get him laid. It's basically it's
You're
a
not little.
gross
You're not
over-exaggeration.
You are sad, but let's not call you little.
It's a gross over-exaggeration of my public persona, let's say. It's you play as a very sad fat man who doesn't do well with the ladies.
Yeah.
who is not very attractive, does not
Who has
keep-
Legend of Zelda beds
who
sheets?
has Legend of Zelda bed sheets.
That, according to the gamer, like jizz stained.
Yeah, it was designed by.
Yeah, let's not even comment on whether or not that's true. Let's just keep moving on.
I'm sure IRL Mark washes his sheets at least once a month.
When's the last time you washed your sheets, Mark?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's not too bad.
When was the time before that?
Probably a bit longer than 2 weeks, but not by much.
Okay. So let the purpose of the game then. When
So,
you play as you.
you
Which
play
is gotta
as-
be weird.
It's weird for me, but like for most people, it's like, oh, I'm just playing as a weird, sad, fat man. Yeah, you play as a weird, sad, fat man who's trying to get laid. That is literally 100% of the game.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you do it by like you have to go talk to this person or you have to get this thing to attract this person.
Yeah.
It's like it's a game you can finish within like 45 minutes.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's the kind of the replayability of it is there's like 13 or 14 different endings.
Oh wow.
Like 12 of them are bad and 2 or 3 of them are good.
Yeah.
Wait, so you can get laid in like 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Even I can't do that.
Well, how long does it take for the roofie to kick in?
The game was actually designed by Leslie Dodd, who
Okay.
she's a game designer. She made
Shout out Leslie.
shout out to Leslie.
Leslie.
She actually designed a game before this called Gray Fox that was kind of like a pretty big hit within like
Nice.
the Steam gaming community.
Okay, so it's available.
So it is
on
available on Steam. I should mention that
Yeah,
it's
how-
available on Steam. It's
and-
called Mark After Dark.
Steam? How much of a punch in the coin purse does this make?
It's like $2.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's not much at all, and I think it's also available. I don't know if it still is. It was available on I think it is in the Cubic package.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's like you pay like $5 and you get a bunch of different games with
Well,
it.
I mean, this is episode's 329. It comes out this Friday upcoming, so it'll be coming out then. So I don't know what a cubic is or how long that lasts for. How many hectares is a cubic?
But it's $2. Like it's $2 on Steam. It's not
Nice.
much at all.
Okay, so I've done like voices in video games, but it's never been me. So like people are walking by and they shoot an alien. He's like, ah, and I'm like, that was me. I died. Cool. But like I've never had anybody look into my life.
I mean, like some comedians, like their gold standard of success is like, oh, I want a television show, I want to be in movies. I've always wanted to be a video game character, and in a weird, twisted way, my fantasy has come true.
So your career's over. What's next?
Yeah. Yeah, you got your goal. Is there like maybe a sequel? Where you got to jerk off in a movie theater or something?
I just wrote the sequel. The sequel would be how do you get this woman out of your house?
Oh.
Ooh.
So you like the game starts, you wake up and you're like, "Oh, who is this and why is she here? What's going on here? Do I start like
Mark
a relationship?"
After Dark.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark after dark.
You call it Mark in the sunlight.
Or like my roommate had an idea. My roommate Dan Clark, he had an idea for it. He's like, what if we had a sequel called Mark and Clark After Dark?
Oh, there you go. 3-way.
Who's Clark? Oh, Dan
Is
Clark.
Mark and Clark sound like a chocolate bar to anybody else?
To me, it
little bit.
sounds like a 1930s comedic duo where like one
Okay.
plays the piano.
Yeah.
Like
I guess I
Abbott
can
and
see that.
Costello. Who's on first?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Mark and Clark.
So in this game, you are a big nerd.
Yeah. It's I had to really dive deep to create this character. I had to go to places I've never been before.
You're wearing a Star Wars shirt right now. I was wondering when
It's
you
a
were
s-
coming.
It's a
A
Star Wars.
Calvin and Hobbes mashup.
How dare you.
Whoa!
Or sorry, yeah, peanuts.
Whoa!
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
Get
But
out of
Peanuts
your
is a
own
very
show.
different-
But so you, I was wondering before you came whether or not you'd be wearing a high roll shirt, because how many do you own?
I don't have a number on that. It's not that it's like an astronomical. Like I could probably count them in a few minutes.
Like if you were to
and it'd probably
ballpark
be
it, like 5.
like 11 maybe.
Okay, that's more than 5.
Do have the shirt from this game.
Like
Those
the
are
hamburger that's throwing up.
the Hambarfker.
A hambarfker.
I actually do have that shirt.
Okay, but I was actually wondering because you recently you got a Nintendo Wii and the Legend of Zelda game and you beat it, and I was just wondering how many hours you got on that.
I don't feel like I should disclose this information.
Yeah. Mark is trying to get laid.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I mean, I have a girlfriend. I do fine, but like,
I'm just trying to build your nerd cred up, because
it's less than 1,000.
Oh God damn. Okay, yep.
Yeah,
but
it's less
more,
than
definitely more than 100.
Okay.
well, if you've
It's-
beaten Final Fantasy VII, you've put in like 100 hours into that game at least.
or like Persona 5.
Well,
If you've played that game, that's 110 hours.
The one I kind of want to, because we're in 2018 now, I wanted to go to you and say, like, 2017, what are your top 3 video games that you played? Because you've been in it and you've put hours into it.
2017 was like one of the best years for video games that I've ever seen.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah,
Yeah?
like the top 3 for me personally,
Yeah.
it would probably be Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild,
Okay.
Super Mario Odyssey,
Mhm.
and Persona 5.
Persona 5. Okay.
Which all 3 of those are fantastic games.
Have you played any of the other Personas?
I played a little bit. I actually only played half of Persona 4. Have you-
So you jumped in at 4 and then went, okay. But, like, the
Like
series, you don't miss much, right?
Have you played them?
No, I haven't. Like, it's like Fast and Furious. I'm thinking I'm
There's,
just going to
like,
jump
each
in
one-
at 10.
Yeah, each one is like self-contained.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Whereas
There you
like Persona 4 is kind of like a Scooby-Doo mystery kind of game, whereas
Yeah.
like Persona 5 is more of like an action superhero type thing.
go. Okay.
If they're self-contained, what connects them? Like, is it like Final Fantasy where they're all just like, oh, they all have anime hair? Who?
They all have a freet.
Yeah.
A little bit, but they also like all visit this like weird other realm. In Persona 4, it was like the Midnight Channel, and Persona 5, it was like
Well, from what I've seen in the ads, there are a bunch of kids at school, and they shoot themselves in the head, and then a monster comes out of them, and then they wear like kinky sex clothes and fight monsters, and they also shoot themselves in the head a lot.
you know, you kind of nailed it.
So that's what the game is.
There
This
are-
is Mark's second or third favorite game.
I'm kind of uncomfortable now.
you play as high school students. And they all, yeah. I guess if you put it like that, yeah, they all wear leather and stuff.
Yeah, they all wear fetish wear and shoot each other in the head, or shoot themselves in the head at people.
Can I bow out of the rest of this podcast?
Don't worry, it's a Japanese RPG. They have amazing hair. Okay,
Okay.
that's what's important. And Super Mario Odyssey is the hat one.
Yeah, that's
Okay, I don't know
Hat
much.
one? What?
I don't know much about it, but from what I've seen, Super Mario has never been Mario. He's been the hat, and it's been possessing Mario.
I mean, I don't think that's the case.
And
but,
this
like,
hat jumps from person to person, taking over their body, and then you control them. And Mario.
Yeah,
is,
it's really best if you don't think about it.
Mario has always been a hat that can mind control anything that it gets on, and that's what the game is.
That's exactly.
So
It's another one of those things. It's best not to think about it.
and then Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is just an incredible game. From
Yeah.
everything I've seen, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, you go around, you solve puzzles.
What's the fastest you think you could beat that in? Now that you know it so well.
I could probably get it done. Like, well, the world record is like 49 minutes. There are people that can get it done because like the idea of the game is you can beat it like right off the bat. You just have to be really good at it.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't do it in under an hour, but like
Damn.
I could probably do it.
A little over.
I don't know, 5 hours maybe.
Wow.
That's not bad. That's like
Well-
that's a decent just pick up and play game though.
But then I'm the thing that I'm always wondering about video games, and this is me just like being super stingy, is like because Mark After Dark, you've got 45-minute playthrough, but you have 15 endings. It's $2. Like, how much do you spend on a game per hour? Like when you break it down, because to see like a movie or something, you spend like $20. That's about 2 hours entertainment. So like I've justified at $10 an hour at that point.
Yeah.
So if I were to buy a game like, let's say, Gears of War, I'm just throwing a name out there. Sorry for anybody who loves Gears of War. And I spend $60 and I wrap it in 4 hours. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? But like,
No, and they definitely do that. Like the Metal Gear Solid game before the last one, it was basically just a commercial for the next game that you could beat in 40 minutes, and they charged full price for it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I honestly console games, like especially with the thing that came out with Battlefront 2, I'm like, man,
Oh,
do I even
dude,
want to get in it?
I don't don't ever make me pay for a game I've already paid for.
Right? I feel like such an old man when I say that, but it's like, am I wrong to not want to buy a game that I've already
Like
bought?
I can like if you're playing a phone game, I can totally justify like, oh, I'll spend like $2 on this because I've
You're
spent
buying, like,
80 hours on it.
Lollipop Hammer or whatever it is in Candy Crush.
Whatever is the thing you gotta buy in the iPhone game.
And even going back to the Battlefront thing, it even makes sense to me where it's like, oh, I don't want to play this game for like 40 hours to get this character, so I should be able to buy it. But it's like,
You can't even buy it. You have to buy the loot crates. Although from what I understand, they've fixed it.
Yeah, I believe it's called a gotcha system.
yeah,
Where you have to like you unlock a character and you're like, oh, I got a character, not the one I wanted, but I got that one. So you're trying over and over again as opposed to just getting a character.
Whereas you could end up spending like $50 on top of the $80 you paid for the game,
Yeah,
yeah.
just so you can play the game the way you want to.
but I mean,
which
EA
is
is really hurting. I mean, they're like the second largest video game company in the world.
Oh,
so
no,
let's
I
try
feel
and
so
get them
bad
their
for
money,
them.
guys. Let's try and
That's
get them their money.
terrible.
Let's dig deep.
Mhm.
Yeah. I always kind of, in my mind, I always liken it to like GoldenEye on N64.
Oh.
Was a great game because you could play that game as much as you wanted to unlock everything, or you could just go and get the Nintendo Power Cheats and get the big head, or you could unlock it and beat it. And it's like, that's how I want it to work if I'm paying an extra $2 to, get the big heads.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's great. Or there should still be an easy / like, okay, it might take some time, but it's still possible
Well, and the interesting
way
thing,
to do it in the game.
The interesting thing you bring up there is it is kind of the death of the cheat code.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
most of the time, developers, they have like an extra thing they want to put in. They no longer are like, oh, you have to press left, up,
Well,
down, right.
sorta
Now
like-
it's like they hide it behind a paywall.
The little bit that I know about the gaming industry is that they're developing games and they have to meet a certain deadline because it'll launch by this time, and it'll launch and they have day one patches that come out. So they're sending something out that's not finished yet.
No, and it's
So
happening. And
yeah.
it's
And so like you're not getting even if they could put like cheat codes and stuff in, you're barely even getting the full game. And sometimes the game comes out and they have day one DLC. So they've been planning this to sell you something in addition the day you buy it.
Which brings me to my next question. What's going to be the day one DLC patches on Mark After Dark?
well, Mark After Dark has been out for some time now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
been out.
it's been released as a complete game is
Yeah,
what you're
it's-
saying.
I
It's a
don't know.
complete
I don't
game.
know if there were like a few minor patches, but most of them were worked out in like the bug process. The one thing that they are going to do is I know Leslie is planning to bring it to both Mac and to handheld devices. Like she's
nice.
developing it as an app,
Cool.
Nice.
That's good.
which is actually totally the way I'd prefer to play it.
Yeah, you're playing more and more. Well, you got the Nintendo Switch now, so you're playing more and more mobile.
Mm-hmm.
I've recently been like I think now the only thing I really play is mobile. Like I don't have my PlayStation or Xbox anymore. I cleared that stuff out. I don't have a TV, but man, I can just crush away on my phone. Because I'll get invited. Like I'll show up for a meeting and it'll be delayed. So I'll just sit there and play on my phone for like an hour. And a
Well,
half.
and that's like a lot of people as they grow up. That's their relationship with games now.
Yeah.
Is like I'm going to play like my big thing on my phone is Tetris. I could like spend like hours playing Tetris.
Yeah.
That
I've got a good question for you, but we need to take a quick little break here. So we'll be back after I probably plug my dates with this one.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Nick McQuik, the host of the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I've got some standing up comedy dates. If you guys want to come see me, I'll be at the Comic Strip January 17th and 24th. Both of those dates, I can get you free tickets. And then I'm going to be there from the 24th right to the 28th. Tickets are on the website there. I might be able to give out some comps for that. All my dates, all the ways to get free tickets. You check that out on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Nick McQuik. But also, I've got something I want to tell you that's pretty cool. I recommend you check out this podcast. It's called Schooling Noah with Aaron Maslow and a special guest. It's brought to you by the same half of a brain that brings you this, but the good half. Uh-oh, I got stuck in an ad. Enjoy the podcast.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio with Mark McCue talking video games. Mark, what I've got a two-pronged question for you. What is your all-time favorite video game that you got the most joy out of in your life? And the second one is, if you could only play one video game for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a really tough question.
I know, it's a hard one, man.
I think
It's a
I
tricky
think it
one.
might. It's down between, for my favorite game of all time, it's down between Chrono Trigger
Oh, that's such a good one.
and Breath of the Wild.
Oh, wow.
Which
Really?
Rounds up
Wow.
there,
The
eh?
new game.
I feel like I should have like some of my cred taken away from me for saying a new game.
Breath
But,
of the
like-
Breath of the Wild is an amazing. I haven't played it, but I've sat down and watched enough people play it that I'm like, there is so much to this.
There's a lot to it, and it's like, it's. I would also say in
you
there
get
like
Magneto's powers.
I would also say in there probably if like one game I could play for the rest of my life, maybe Skyrim,
Yeah, I guess it's a big open
because it's
world.
another one of those games. There's just so much to find in it.
Yeah,
MMOs.
it's
And like I spent
Yeah.
like the first time I played it, I spent like hundreds of hours playing it, and I was still finding things.
well, and it's one of those things where you don't even have to do the main quest. You can just go run around the world fighting dragons and joining
And
guilds
finding
or
your own
something.
shit to do.
Grand
It's
Theft
great.
Auto. Beat up hookers.
Grand-
Oh, yeah. Hooker Puncher Simulator. Yeah.
It's hard for me to defend my love of Grand Theft Auto, but
Oh,
Oh.
it's so like terrible. It's like the morality and the ethics of liking that game is like this is questionable. But like
Well,
it's so much fun though.
The newest one tells such a good story. Like that one, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh my God! There's the character Trevor in it. Is like
he's
this.
basically how you play Grand Theft Auto.
Well, he's such like a hurt and twisted individual. He's lashing out at the world and he's trying to like reunite with his one friend who kind of shuns him. And it's just he's such a lovable like anti-hero. Just because he wants to do what's right by his friends, but he is in the wrong set of mind. So he really won me over.
Well, I remember like around the time like the Columbine shootings, people started saying it's because of violent video games. And like knee-jerk reaction as someone who loves games is like obviously not. But looking at it now, it's like probably not, but I can kind of see the point they were
Well, like,
trying to make.
Here's the weird thing. Like I'm no psychologist, obviously. But
what?
One thing I learned when I started boxing is I wasn't getting in fights in the bar or the street or anything because I was getting it out of my system.
Yeah.
Like I think that there's a lot of therapy to it, and I know that they're using like a lot of violent video games as therapy for soldiers with PTSD.
Well, I know that like whenever I like am playing a game like Grand Theft Auto, I'll stop in the middle of playing it and be like, "Am I a sociopath?" Because this is like none of this is stuff I would do in real life.
I think that the
obviously,
fact
but
that you stop and ask that question makes you not a sociopath 100%. It makes you a little crazy that you just stop playing a game and ask an empty room of nobody. That's weird, but that's a whole other thing.
Best 5 minutes I ever wrote. God. Nobody heard.
Yeah. But with like it's so weird because I think it was 2014 the video game industry actually like eclipsed movies and television for like the amount of money it makes. It's become this sort of interactive story now where everybody can get involved. And the weird thing is like what are some of the video games you remember growing up on?
definitely things like A Link to the Past was a big one for me. Like the old Super Nintendo games, Chrono Trigger.
Oh,
games,
such a good one.
Chrono Trigger, by the way, if you've never played it, it's one of the best stories I've ever seen. In
I
a
was
game.
so upset by Chrono Cross. I was like, this can't even.
I didn't hate
compare.
Chrono
It
Cross,
just couldn't compare.
but it just wasn't like it.
Yeah.
Like Chrono Cross is not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just not in the realm of the game that came before it. So
Not
of
at all,
course
yeah.
people are going to hate it. It's like The Godfather Part 3. That is a fine movie. There is nothing wrong with The Godfather Part 3, but it's nowhere near the first two, so people hate it.
Yeah, but like growing up with those sort of games, they told a story and they were a little interactive and everything. But more or less, you were sort of like, I mean, with Chrono Trigger, you had different endings and everything, but you're sort of along for a ride. And they didn't really, like the game was designed. They didn't go to colleges and hire writers and stuff. And now you have people that write for TV and movies that are in the video game industry.
Actually, on New Year's, my girlfriend and I, we actually played through this really interesting game called The Wolf Among Us.
Oh, it's a Telltale series.
It is a Telltale series.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
It's
I've
like
heard a lot
it's
about
a
it.
point and click. Like
Yeah.
there's very little gameplay involved with it, but what a hell hell of
Yeah.
a story behind it.
And that's something that has like come so far is the storytelling aspect of it, and it's weird because TV and movies and everything sort of become more archaic and trapped in their ways, but like we're seeing the video game industry opening up so many new things.
Well, especially when you look at like, I feel like television is still like we are like, I don't know if we're leaving it, but we definitely are in a golden age of television.
Yeah.
Like you look at
Oh,
like,
you're right. I mean, young Sheldon.
but like
Big
the one
Bang
criticism I can make of television is that there still are the multi-camera sitcoms that are like Young Sheldon, Big Bang Theory, which don't get like, I'm sure that, like if you love those, I'm not being like how dare you like those, but they're not for me. And they do seem a little bit. The best example I can use is Two Broke Girls. To me, was very like 80s sitcom, and I have no idea how it survived as long as it did.
Yeah, I have no clue. It's
Whereas
so
like
much.
video games are like, they are embracing weirder and more intricate stories, and it's interesting to see like, because we grew up in the like 80s 90s where like video game stories were at most like help Pac-Man get to the end of the maze, or oh, you have to kill all these things because they're the bad guys and you're the good guys.
I actually read a thing about Pac-Man that apparently he's a person who sees ghosts and he needs like to get all of his pills to make the ghosts go away.
Yeah,
and if you look at it that way, it's like
that's a really
whoa.
dark story.
That just adds so much depth to that character.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
yeah, you're
God.
like there's not a lot to him. Like I don't know, it's a sad story for that dude.
Well, even like, cause I have an Atari 2600, and
Brag
I'm working on my Nick McQuik. It came with Brick Breaker, and like they had a story to Brick Breaker where you're like in a spaceship and you're like blocking this energy with your spaceship to like get through this like weird force field or whatever, and it's like, oh wow,
But the story was secondary to the gameplay.
At that
yeah.
point, yeah, definitely.
Whereas it's I think if I was to attribute it to anything, I would now I can't remember the name of the game. It was
Bang bang, shoot 'em up.
yeah, it was a first person shooter.
Duke Nukem Doom.
No, way later, like early 2000s.
Oh,
What was it
Quake?
called?
Halo?
No. It was World War II based at first.
oh, Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty, where they just ran that format right into the ground, and they just
They-
destroyed it. Like it was like after that, first person shooters were fucking boring.
I'm playing through a first-person shooter right now that's great.
What is
I'm
it called?
playing through Doom, like
Doom, the
not the
new
original
release.
Doom, but the remake that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what, I really like it because it does feel like an old video game because there's a story, but like your main character actively doesn't care about it. And it's just like, we're going to kill demons. What else are we going to do? We're going to kill more demons. That's
Yeah.
what you get to do today.
Yeah,
And it's kind of cool to just like...
Well, and that's the thing. That's like the Two Broke Girls or Young Sheldon of video games, because that's where your brain is shutting off and you're just doing this.
Yeah.
Like, but
And
there
there's
are-
nothing wrong with like just shutting off your brain
No.
and enjoying something.
Yeah, and then there is like the Telltale games like the Wolf Among Us, which is like a masterpiece, and like you're not just gonna play that mindlessly. Or
No,
you're just
because
click,
you-
click, 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 click. Oh, I'm gonna
It's the
click.
interesting thing about that game is like the premise of it is like you are the sheriff of Fairy Tale Land,
Oh, God.
but it's like it's such a
I thought
stock
you were like
character.
The cop. You're like
You're
a
a cop.
detective, or okay.
You're
yeah.
the sheriff of like this gritty, like poor, broken New York
And
neighborhood.
Everybody's like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah,
or
everybody
like a
used to
werewolf
be
or
like
something.
everybody used to be like a fairy tale character, and now they're like strippers and hookers and
So like Bright, but as a video game.
Oh,
yeah.
the new Will Smith.
yeah,
vehicle.
no, that's exactly what what it's
Yeah.
like.
Did you watch Bright?
Not yet, no.
No, Mark, have you seen Bright?
I haven't.
I watched it with my wife, and
wife.
Counter to what everyone on the internet says, I liked it.
I think it was a critical failure, and everybody people liked it.
It's a really good idea of modern day elves and orcs, and there's this huge racism and segregation, and it
Real
really,
racism,
Yeah.
not like the fake racism we
Yeah.
have now.
Yeah. but like species racism.
Yeah.
But they've got this whole thing, and it does a really good job of building the world in like the first few minutes and introducing the characters and all this predetermined prejudice and everything. It's a hard thing to get all of that out as quick as they did, and I think they did a really good job.
I don't mind things like that if they can they build the world, they sell it to us, and in a way that we can suspend our disbelief.
Yeah. Well,
If they're like, okay, yeah, cool, elves are cops now.
You mean like how Star Wars does that, but everybody judges it as if it was realistic at all, anyways? Fuck you, Star Wars haters. I've got a lot to say. Anyways, we'll move on. Go on, move on.
I feel like going to Star Wars would be great right now because a lot of people have even some people that I work with have said the new movie is worse than the Phantom Menace.
I can't see
How
it.
stupid can you be?
There are things that I didn't like about the new Star Wars movie, but there's so much that I did like that it doesn't bother me enough.
This is not at all a spoiler, and we'll try and avoid those.
Well, but at
very
this
opening,
point,
when there
if this is coming out
bombers-
Friday, right?
yeah, in February. Or no, in January. Sorry.
So then,
January,
at this point, anybody who hasn't seen it doesn't really want to see it.
well, I guess. It's available everywhere. But I mean, maybe somebody is serving an Afghan. I don't know. But
Who knows?
the very opening scene where they're doing a bombing run on a thing, and I don't want to get into details. It doesn't spoil anything. But there was so much emotional investment. I was sitting forward on my chair, being like, "Oh, is it gonna happen?"
gravity in space. The
movie
sucks.
I was just so emotionally invested in that, and it really grabbed me, and it did a great job of building me in. There was a couple scenes that happened where I was like, all right, what is this, an Ocean's 11 Star Wars that just happened right now? There was a couple scenes I didn't like, but overall I really enjoyed the movie.
I didn't much like Finn's plot line.
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't add to the overall plot line, but I love what they did to that central character.
Yeah.
That interpretation, it was oh my god, that's of course, because that's what Yoda and Obi-Wan did.
Yeah. He's I want to see it a couple more times before I really start saying real specifics. But my number one thing about Star Wars right now is almost every single comment that's a hater comment, not just I like the movie, but an actual full-on hater comment is you're a fucking sociopath and fuck you. You have no feelings and I fucking hate you and shut the hell up about my most beloved franchise.
I love how you love it so much that anyone who has an opinion about it that's negative is immediately
and
fuck you.
just to clarify, I don't mind people that don't like the movie. I'm just really all the people that are this movie should be deleted and it's worse than the Phantom Menace just need to go die in a fire. That doesn't make any sense.
For me,
it's a better movie on every level than the Phantom Menace
people.
was.
Those are the same people that are do you like Star Wars or Star Trek? And I'm like, I like them both. And
You
people
can't.
they're like, well, which one's better? And I'm like, I don't have to pick a favorite. I can like two things. And when I tell people oh, I like Star Wars, they're like, oh, well, what was Luke's land speeder? And I'm like, can I like something and
not
be,
have to
can
know
we
the
just-
name
Do we
of-
not have to whip out our fan dicks and prove who likes Star Wars more? Can we just agree that we both enjoy it? It's this weird culture now, and I don't know if Twitter's to blame or what, but everyone's like, oh, you like something? Well, I'm better at liking it than
It's
you.
gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping.
It's
is what
totally
it is.
it's totally gatekeeping. Yeah.
Gatekeeping?
Gatekeeping.
Keeping.
Let's keep calling it
Keep
that.
your geeks. Keep your geeks. Geek keeping.
Geekkeeping. You know
That's
what?
really what it is. That's actually kind of apt.
Geek gatekeeping.
Because it's for me one of the criticisms that always comes up is it's non-canonical. It's non-canonical. Well, no, it is canonical because that's who's making the canon. That's the story now. Fuck you. You don't own it.
But who's saying it's non-canonical?
A lot of people.
I don't understand the non-canonical argument.
Because it doesn't make sense. They're this isn't how it would have went in the EU, and this isn't how Luke's got. Well, it is now.
Dude,
So
George
it doesn't
Lucas did not even write the extended univerce. They were based on vague notes.
I'm
The
just
only
wondering
reason
how
that stuff
much-
was canon was because nobody said no.
How much does it?
Yeah.
How much did that movie cost? Because if people are that outraged, Kickstarter all that money and make your own fucking movie.
Well-
How about instead of just tearing down what somebody made and some people enjoy, you do something about it.
Make something better if you don't like it.
Everybody complains about the weather. Nobody does anything about it.
Thanks, evil genius Nick McQuik. I think one of Canada's greatest bards ever said it best.
Robbie
If you
Burns.
don't like what you got, why don't you change it? If your world is all screwed up, rearrange it.
Yeah.
After that, I don't get like just saying shit. Just fuck off. Like
Dude, I met that dude at a urinal once.
nice.
I went and saw his show in like Calgary, and like
Mix
they were
his
playing.
dick.
Yeah, I did see his dick.
Was it a good dick? Was it like smooth or like crook? Like did it?
I don't remember. I just remember being like, "Oh, that's Ray McGuire's dick." But I went and saw.
You're like, you looked at it, but you were so starstruck that you couldn't even focus.
No, and that was the thing. I was like, my parent. Actually, it was It was just a little after my 18th birthday. We went to see Trooper.
Okay, so you're legal to look at his dick.
Yeah, it wasn't a child looking at his dick. So it's
Yeah, thank you for making it good.
It was a child. Is it illegal for a child to... Okay, we're not getting into this conversation. But
Legal advice, please, in the comments down below.
Yeah. Any legal advice about looking at wieners? Text me 780-862-1124. Thank you.
Mark must know.
And I'll let Mark know how that conversation went.
so we went and saw like Trooper at the Deerfoot Casino. Really, they had a lot of really good show. They still bring it, but like afterwards, like we went and sang karaoke at the bar. And oh yeah, hey. Anyway, I was just at the urinal, and like Ray McGuire was at the one next to me, and I was like, oh my god, like I did that thing you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to talk to people at the urinals, but I was like, oh my god, I loved your show so much. And he was like so nice and polite about it. He was like, I don't remember what I was telling him. I was telling him like all sorts of bullshit, like I'm a musician too. I was breaking all the rules.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Just
And then he was like, man, I hope that works out for you. Like he was super chill and cool about it.
Just out of curiosity, flip the script. If you were at a urinal and somebody approached you at the was pissing in the and then recognized this like, oh, you're Mark McCue from either Comedy or Mark After Dark, how would you then start to react to them fanboying or girling? Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I don't know if it was a fanboy situation, but like somebody once recognized, like a doctor once recognized me while I went like in the emergency room. Like I went in because I had
How much clothing did you have on?
Here's the thing. I went in because I had a yeast infection,
Okay.
which is a thing dudes can get.
Yeah, you're cooking bread. I got it.
Yeah. So I went to the ER because the normal doctor was closed that day. So I get in, and like this is when I was a radio DJ in a small town in northern Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a small town radio DJ, you get to be famous for like 5 kilometers around your house, and
Yeah.
that's it. So I went in, I was talking to like the woman behind the counter. She said, "What's your name?" I said, "Mark McCue." And she says, "Oh, and I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up." So I get in to see the doctor. He's this great big, like he's 6'8" maybe, and he has these massive hands. And I'm more of what you would call a grower than a shower. So this wasn't a flattering moment for me. He had like
You had yeast infection on your dick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Where else could you get a?
I don't know. I figured maybe carrying a couple loaves of bread under your armpits.
Okay. So like as this dude's
The old
holding
crotch
like
rot,
my
the taint.
little yeasty penis in his hands,
Little yeasty penis.
he just goes
Name of the
like.
episode. Name of the episode. You got it right there.
Little yeasty penis.
But then this guy just goes like, "So are you Mark McCue from the radio?"
There you go.
Oh man.
Oh, what is it? It just
So it wasn't
reminds me-
fanboying, but like it was still uncomfortable. I was like,
What is it?
yeah.
It's like a mixture of fanboying and freeballing at that point. But it's Jay-Z is called Yeezy. Why don't we call you Yeasty? That could be your rap name. Yeasty.
Oh,
The
God.
breadwinner.
Lil Yeasty.
Little Yeasty. So, Mark, how can people follow you on Twitter?
At Mark Robert McCue.
And then do you have any? You got other social media, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
Mark McCue 12.
Mark McCue 12. Not inches, right?
Not when you have a yeast infection. fraction anyway.
Oh, no, it's his Subway order. 12 inches of yeast.
Oh, that's a little too clever for you, Nick.
And where can they find the dates? Your comedy dates.
Okay, I have it on my Twitter. My upcoming comedy dates is January 26th and 27th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hosting at the Yuck Yucks at Century Casino
In Edmonton?
in Edmonton, yeah. On January 28th, I'm headlining Pinky's Palace.
Oh,
That's a strip club.
you
right?
have
That
to
is a
tell.
strip
You
club.
have to tell the story at that. I think.
I probably will.
That's pretty
yeah.
fitting.
I'm headlining a strip club on the 28th, and then on February 2nd, I'm in Saskatoon
Oh, nice.
with Kevin McGrath, and then on February 3rd, we're in Humboldt. You're
You're just throwing darts at maps to go to locations now. So, yeah, headlining a strip club. Nice. I mean, I got booked that night to headline a Pinkberry, so I mean, I can't make it out. So I'm too busy. But yeah, thanks for being a guest, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Stick around. We're doing another episode with some hot sauce. If you guys like the episode, then there's a like button, and nobody watches to the end. So Tom's phone number is
862-1124.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, guys, music is done by Ben Sounds. Go check out the Facebook page for all of our live podcasts and giveaways. Follow us on Twitter to get the fastest updates. And please give us some stars on iTunes. Thank you so much for listening to this. We had an amazing time making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it half as much as we do. Keep on listening to podcasts in the free world. Good night or morning. Uh-oh.
Okay, knock, knock, guys.
That's a normal thing.